What's going on, guys? It's Wyatt with Boaters List. I'm here at Point South Marina with Scott Rossman, who's going to be the director for the Bay Point Billfish Open. It's going to be an amazing tournament. We're very excited to cover this year in the series for the Florida Panhandle Billfish Series. It's going to be incredible. Scott, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. My pleasure. I appreciate you guys being here and helping us promote what is kind of a reborn event, the Bay Point Billfish Open here at Point South Marina, Bay Point in beautiful Panama City Beach.
Yes, sir. It's going to be an amazing tournament, and it's going to be wrapping up the final leg of this incredible Florida Panhandle Billfish Series, which we're very excited to cover. So tell us a little bit about your tournament, the history of it, kind of how it got started, and maybe a little bit of information about the prize pool.
So I'm a Miami boy, born and raised, and then went to school in Gainesville, spent a year in Jacksonville, and came here in 1987. So in 1988, was my first exposure to what was then the Bay Point Invitational. It was a 72-boat invitational event, which actually started as kind of like a captain's tournament here at Bay Point in 1984, and then it quickly expanded and grew to 72 premier, sport fishing yachts. Back then, in the mid 80s, a 55-foot boat was considered a
big deal.
Yes, a big time boat, and it was those kind of boats and crews and captains and owners, and it was just a great event. So I got involved starting in 1988, and that event went through 2012. It survived some hurricanes, an oil spill, and then in 2012, for various reasons, the owner of the marina decided, okay, let's not continue this. They lost the person who was running it, and so the event stopped in 2012, and fortunately last year we were able to bring it back.
That's incredible. So tell us a little bit about the tournament itself, what divisions are included, what species are going to be targeted, so we can get the folks at home a little bit more information on.
Okay, like most of the events along the Gulf Coast that start in Texas and Louisiana, Mississippi, and here in Florida, Alabama as well. It's a blue marlin tournament, so the big prize is blue marlin billfish, but you also have the tuna, wahoo, and dolphin are the meat fishes. Many times when you're trolling for blue marlin, you find the tuna, wahoo, and dolphin, and of course there's a considerable amount of money in these events. They all top the $1 million mark. Some of them will even top $2 million this year. So the prize money is huge.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of money in that pool to be won, which I know a lot of folks are excited about. So tell me how this ties into the Florida Panhandle Billfish Series, it being the last event. A lot of anglers that fish all three of these events. Why did you guys decide to be that final leg?
Well, our tournament director is Bert Merritt, and so the tournament series is his baby, so to speak. He's been thinking about this for a while, and it's just a great idea. When he kind of came to us and said, "Hey, would you guys be willing to be a part of?" So he's involved in the Biloxi tournament. He's one of the people who help run that tournament. He's our tournament director, so he's involved in two of the three, the third being the Emerald Coast Blue Marlin Classic. And when I say Biloxi, it's the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic, yes, hosted by Golden Nugget Casino over there in Biloxi. So Bert said, well, why don't we do a series that's strictly to promote the Panhandle of Florida events? So we're talking about Pensacola, Sandestin, and here at Point South Marina, Bay Point, in Panama City Beach. We just think it's great to promote Florida fishing. Anybody who's ever been to this region to, come down from, be it Birmingham or Nashville or Atlanta or Chicago, wherever, they come down here and they, get on a charter boat and go fishing. They know that this is a fishing destination. It's a fantastic, from, again, Pensacola to Panama City Beach. It's a fantastic stretch of the Gulf of Mexico with experienced captains and mates and fantastic fishing yachts. And so we just thought, well, hey, this is a good way to promote these events, but also big time sport fishing in this region. So, and that's kind of the reason we jumped on board immediately.
Absolutely. And in talking to some of the other tournament directors and Bert as well, in terms of promoting this area for fishing, there's a big focus on conservation. So I want to talk a little bit. I understand there's some release divisions, and from what I've heard, you can even win more in the release divisions than you can in the ones where you bring the fish to the dock.
Well, the way these events run, you have tournament payouts, which is money that is raised from the entry fees. That money, a large percentage percentage of it is pooled, and then it's broken into blue marlin, tuna, wahoo, and dolphin. And then a good while back, the conservation-minded folks within the industry said, well, why don't we add to not just blue marlin, weighing a blue marlin, why don't we do blue marlin? Because the vast majority of the blue marlins that are hooked in these kind of events are released. So why don't we find a way to reward those who are hooking and releasing a lot of blue marlin or other billfish? You got white marlin and sailfish and swordfish, and so different events count points for the different species. But again, the blue marlin, you get the most points for hooking and releasing a blue marlin. So they awarded both tournament money, and then we have what we also call the optional entry categories. It used to be what we it would be money that was kind of bet on the side, and Uncle Sam didn't know about it, the IRS didn't know about it, and then all of it came above board, and now you have these optional entry categories where the teams can bet against each other in different categories. There's a $500 category, a $1,000 category, $2,500, a $5K, and even in blue marlin release, there's a $10,000 category. So say you have 7 boats get in the $10,000 category, you have a $70,000 prize pool. So those guys, whoever of them releases the most points, get that first place prize, and you have first, second, and third place. So in all of these categories, you'll have first, second, and third place blue marlin, and in blue marlin release and tournament money, and then you'll have 500, 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, and optional entry money. And again, you add all of that prize money up, and you're easily going to top 7 figures.
That's incredible. And it's just really good to see that these captains and the industry as a whole is just getting involved in a little bit more conservation, wanting to make sure that this fishery is around for the next generation. And that seems to be a big focus for each of these tournament legs, that they're promoting the conservation, promoting releasing these billfish. Because, I think a lot of people see these events and they see some of these beautiful fish that are hanging at the end of the tournament that were harvested, and they get a little bit upset, and they don't understand that, there's a lot of fish that are being released during the tournament itself. 95, 97% of the fish are released, and there is that one that comes to the weigh-in. But, as a whole, the release efforts, and from what I understand, there's also scientists that are coming into the weigh-ins that are taking tissue samples from the fish that are harvested. So it contributes to a larger scientific benefit for the billfish fishery as a whole, and it's really great to see that the tournament.
There certainly is scientific research done. I know, again, I'm involved in the Mississippi Gulf Coast Billfish Classic, and they bring in both teachers and students from the University of Southern Mississippi marine research, students, and they do research. We are talking about doing that here in the Bay Point Billfish Open as well. And but it is definitely worth noting that I myself was involved in 3 tournaments last year. Again, Biloxi, the Emerald Coast Blue Marlin Classic, and the return of the Bay Point Billfish Open. And I saw 6 blue marlin weighed in. We had 3 in Biloxi, we had 2 at ECBC, and we had 1 here at Point South Marina, Bay Point. I want to say, if you add it up, and this is going to be off the top of my head, but I think it's going to be a relatively accurate figure, I'll bet there were over 120 blue marlin caught and released in those 3 events.
Oh, wow.
So from a percentage, 6 out of 120, or let's say 126 hooked and 6 of them were killed, 120 were released. The percentage, like you said, it's well over 90%. And again, the technology allows us to, the teams must video verify their catch and release. So they know when they hook a blue marlin, they get the marlin close to the boat. They will not boat that blue marlin unless they know 100% that it's longer than 110 inches of length. And that's from the fork of the tail to the lower jaw. So you're talking about 110. And these boats are very good, very precise at being able to measure the fish. If it's not 110 inches or more, they videotape not just the catch, sidling the fish up to the side of the boat and grabbing the leader. They also must videotape the fish swimming off. And now we have cameras that go underwater. You stick that stick underwater.
Oh, I love those shots.
And you see the marlin swimming off to fight another day. And again, that's done anywhere from 90 to 95, 6, 7% of the time in these tournaments.
It's great to hear that those protocols are in place. So tell me a little bit more about the future of the Bay Point Billfish Open in terms of what you guys have planned. I know you guys getting involved in the series is huge for the future of the tournament. What other plans do you have for this tournament?
Well, before I get into the future, if I can, I want to mention my partners and how this event got rebirthed. Myself and a businessman here in Panama City Beach by the name of Jay Quaid. We attend the same church, and we've been talking for some years about, wow, we really need to get started up on restarting the Bay Point Billfish tournament. And once St. Joe, the marina took a serious hit in Hurricane Michael in 2018. St. Joe refurbished the marina, and now it is a first-class marina. It's absolutely a jewel here along the Gulf Coast. So, and the harbor master here, Justin Bannerman, really knows his business. He is a top-flight marina director, and this is a top-flight, 5-star marina. So the timing, everything just works. So Jay and I got together. And John Warren is the businessman who owns Bay Point here, and George Roberts, who was a businessman in Bay County as well. But John and Jay and George are all big-time fishermen. They've all fished in these events in the past at Bay Point and other. George has been up and down the coast. Jay has traveled the world fishing in events like this. So it's a natural group to come together, to say, hey, let's form it. And we did that. In basically 2022, it took us a good year to get together and start planning and putting the resources together. And again, the folks at St. Joe and Justin and his staff here at Point South Marina, Bay Point, have done an incredible job of partnering with us. And so none of that would have been possible. This event rebirthing would not have been possible had it not been for my three partners, who are all very, smart businessmen and very connected to the community in a whole variety of ways. And then again, our partnership with the St. Joe company and the Point South Marina, Bay Point, and then also the Panama City Beach Tourism Development Council. They jumped on board in a very big way to support us and help us promote this event, promote the marina, promote Panama City Beach, promote us as the fishing destination that we are, and this event helped do that. All that being said, we knew the crowd would show back up when we restarted the event. It did. The crowd came out in large numbers. Our event is the last week of June and into the first day or two of July, and it will be again this year in 2024. The crowd showed up, and that allowed us to, make our sponsors happy. We set up tents, a little vendor village along the way. The sponsors are happy. The TDC seems happy. For the St. Joe company seems happy, and Justin and his staff now. That was a killer week for them, and so they were exhausted, but overall, we think they were pleased with it. So in terms of the future, we hope it will continue to grow the way it did when it was started in 1984 with, I think, 25 boats and a $50,000 prize. And when it ended in 2012, they were at 72 boats and well over $1 million. And we hope that last year our event paid out at well over $1 million. We hope in the very near future, that's $2 million or $2.5 million. And as many boats as Justin and his staff can fit into here at the marina, we hope to fill those spots up and grow this event year in and year out.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be incredible. All the sponsors that come out for these tournaments, there's some pretty impressive names. Are there any that you want to mention?
Well, again, basically the St. Joe company and the folks that visit Panama City Beach, the Tourism Development Council, they've been just spectacular. But yeah, I don't want to get into naming the sponsors, because if I name a few and not others, I'll probably get myself in trouble. But it's a long list of boat companies, law firms, air conditioning companies, it's a long list. Real estate companies that people jumped on board to partner with us. And again, with these events, the sponsorship dollars, they guarantee you that you're not going to lose money, and that's big.
It sounds like the whole community gets involved in participating in this event. Either they might be going out fishing or they're sponsoring the event as a whole. It seems like a really great community event.
It truly does. I used to say that the Bay Point Billfish Invitational was the social event of the summer. Heck, it was like the social event of the year. It was always in the second week of July. People marked it on their calendars. The people that, say, owned a condo here but lived up in Birmingham or Montgomery or Nashville or Atlanta, whatever, they would circle that date on the calendar, and they would be sure to be here in their Bay Point condo or their Bay Point home for the Bay Point Billfish Invitational. And that's what we anticipated. When it went away in 2012, there was that hole in the middle of the summer that, people were, I would all the time be at the grocery store or be at a ball game or something, and people would say, hey, when is the Bay Point tournament coming back? When is that Billfish tournament coming back? So we knew there was a hunger for it and a desire to see it. And again, last year in late June and early July, we found out that the people did want to come back, and they came out in large numbers. And again, we expect more of the same in 2024.
Oh, that'll be fantastic. Now, I do got to ask, we introduced you to Boaters List this morning. I know a lot of the tournament anglers and captains that might be watching this, they're very familiar with it. They use it to find the marinas where they're going to get their fuel, the tackle shops where they're going to get their bait and their tackle when they go out to go catch these amazing fish. What are your impressions of Boaters List? Kind of taking your first look at it today as a boater, as a fisherman. What are the thoughts that come to your mind?
It's a great idea. I don't own a boat, but I know if I did, I wouldn't want to have to go through a search engine to find what I want. Something specific to say, hey, here are my needs, and here are the people that can meet my needs. It can, like you said, I just kind of found out about it this morning, but it seems just like a fantastic idea to bring the customers together with the people that can help them in a variety of ways. If I own something like this, the Chew Fran behind us, I would want to know, hey, here's a spot I can go to. Like if I have any kind of issue with my boat or any kind of need, supplies or whatever, I can do one click, and there is that marketplace for everything that I need. It's just a fantastic idea.
Yeah, that's our hope, just to connect boaters and people that are interested in getting out on the water, whether it's getting a rental, getting a kayak, paddleboard, whatever it may be, getting out there, getting connected with a provider really quickly, a quality one that they know they're going to have a good experience with. So I got one other question. I've heard a rumor that Miller Lite is going to be giving away a year's supply of beer. We know that they're the presenting sponsor for this series and for these tournaments. Do you think these captains are in it for the money or for a year's supply of that beautiful Miller Lite?
Anybody who's ever fished on an event like these, on a boat like these, they know that it's not just the kind of fuel that fuels the boat. You need a certain fuel that fuels the crew, and you're talking about a company stepping up and giving a year's worth of beer. That's a fantastic carrot to dangle, so to speak. These are highly motivated teams anyway. The money is so big, but hey, to the winning crew, you get yourself a year's supply of Miller Lite. That's fantastic.
It's the best beer to have when you're fishing. It's actually the first beer I ever had while I was fishing, so it's a little bit near and dear to my heart. Awesome. So I'm a little bit jealous of the captains that are all going out with that prize on the line. But again, we are very excited to be covering this tournament and the Florida Panhandle Billfish Series as a whole. Thank you so much, Scott, for coming out.
Thank you.
We're very lucky to have you on.
Thank you guys for partnering with us. I think the exposure for not just our event, but the Emerald Coast Blue Marlin Classic and the event in Pensacola is just going to be fantastic.
Yes, sir. It absolutely will. So we'll be seeing you guys out on the dock, and stay tuned.
And as always, for any of your boating needs, be sure to check out boaterslist.com to get connected with the best service providers in your area. Whether you're fishing a tournament and you need some fuel or bait, or you're just trying to get out on the water with your family and you might need a quick repair here or there, check out Boaters List to get connected with service providers in your area that can get you out on the water fast with amazing service.
Boaters List.